Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm now going to be showing you something that I've been working on for pretty long, and that is I've officially made my NFL top 100 from last season. Now, before we get into this video, I want to make a quick disclaimer. These are all my opinions. You can respectfully disagree with them, but don't be going flooding my comments, okay? You got that? You can disagree and explain why. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the video. Okay, let's do this. Starting in at number 100 is Bryan Anger, Cowboys punter. I felt that I had to include one punter, so why not include the best one, and that's Bryan Anger. He was a Pro Bowl, so I'm going to have to go quick on all these. He was a Pro Bowl select. Oh, did I mention we're doing 100 through 50? One. Yeah. Pro Bowl punter. Pro Bowl punter had, like, the best average net punt yards. Yeah. 99 is DK Metcalf. I was contemplating where to put him on here, but he had a pretty good season considering that he had Geno Smith for part of it. He is a freak of nature. And yeah. And 98 is Lamar Jackson. Now, wait. I think Lamar, before he got injured, was playing out of his mind. They were 8-3. Yes, he did have some bad games, and his passing stats aren't that great. But he's still a great rushing quarterback, and I think he's going to have a major bounce back next year. And number 97 is Xavier McKinney. Giants were dysfunctional last year. I think we know that. They were a big laughingstock of the league, but Xavier McKinney really came through. Really good safety. Pro Bowl. I think he was. Yeah, he was Pro Bowl. Right? He's a Pro Bowl caliber safety if he didn't make the Pro Bowl. Yeah. And 96 is Jordan Poyer. I hate praising my rival, so I had to put this picture on. You could see him. He's right there. Great safety though. When Tre'Davious White went down, guess who had to step in? Really, him and Micah Hyde. Jordan Poyer played fantastic, and I think if they had just a little bit more corner help, they definitely would have been to the Super Bowl. They had the roster. And 95 is Cordell Patterson. He was a Swiss Army knife last year. He was able to receive, rush. He basically did it all. He's a great red zone threat. He was like the only weapon besides Kyle Pitts Matt Ryan had to throw to. So yeah, I think putting him at 95 is fair. And 94 Tre'Davious White. He would definitely be in like the top 20 if he didn't get injured. But he had his season cut short due to a torn ACL. So this is as high as I could put him. But he was playing lights out, knocking down any number one receiver you wanted him to. And number 93 is DeMarcus Lawrence. Part of the reason why the Dallas Cowboys had the #1 turnover defense was because of their ability to get pressure. Marcus Lawrence was a big reason behind that. He was able to get a ton of pressure. Yeah. Combine that with an amazing scheme by Dallas. Yeah. And 92 is Trayvon Diggs. Yeah. I'm not a Trayvon Diggs supporter. I don't think he's that good. But I can't disregard a guy who had 11 interceptions. But I can put a picture of him getting beat by his brother. So, yeah. He was the leading in interceptions, but he also allowed the most yards, I think, ever. So, he's going to stay at 92. So, I felt I had to put him on the list, but he was such a hard player to rank. 92 is going to be his spot. 91 is Cam Hayward. Steelers' offense, we all know, is very dysfunctional. Really was. Big Ben played awful. The only reason they made a playoff appearance is because of their defense. One of those players on it was Cameron Hayward. Fantastic edge rusher. And although he's getting up there in age, I still think he's got a couple more good years left in him. And 90s Aaron Jones. Great running back. Had a pretty injury-riddled year and had to split carries with A.J. Dillon. But he's still great. So, 90. 89 is Dawson Knox. He really broke out this year, showing his showing his insane athleticism. He was a great target for Josh Allen, and just another element on why the Bills are probably winning the Super Bowl next year, which hurts me to say. 88's Lavonte David. Yeah, the Buccaneers front seven has been the cornerstone of that defense. Who's in the front seven? Lavonte David. Who's their leader? Lavonte David. At 87, it's Harrison Smith. Don't really have to do much explaining. It's Harrison Smith. He's getting up there in age, but you know, he still has great coverage skills. He's able to absolutely rock any receiver that he gets full momentum on. Yeah. 86 is Jalen Waddle. 1,000 yards, breaking rookie reception records all in your rookie year, while playing with Tua Jacoby Brissett as your quarterback. Yeah. I think it's pretty safe to say that I could put him at 86 and not be called biased. 85 is Dalton Schultz. Another player that really broke out last season. After Blake Jarwin went down, he had to step in, and he proved to be their number one tight end. There's a reason that they paid him. He deserved the money. And he's going to be a great weapon for Dallas, especially after losing Amari Cooper. At 84 is Wyatt Teller. There's a reason why Browns always have a top run game, is because they have a great O-line. Wyatt Teller's part of it. I don't want to say too much because there's other Browns O-linemen on this list. At 83 is Javonte Williams. He would be way higher if he wasn't splitting carries, but his stats don't show it all, especially his lack of touchdowns. Also, I have some bias because he's on my fantasy team, but he kept disappointing. It's not his fault, though. He was great last year. And now that he's going to get to take the role of the number one back in Denver, yeah. I also wanted Miami to pick him, but, you know, Brock is one pick ahead of us to take him. At 82, it's Kyler Murray. In the first 8 weeks of the season, he might have been top 5, realistically, but he collapsed, but he's still a very talented quarterback. We just need to see him put it all together, or he might be out of Arizona next season. Another Browns lineman at 81, that's J.C. Treader. Well, former Browns lineman, now free agent. I don't understand why teams haven't signed him. Fantastic center, and there are plenty of teams that need center. Dolphins. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of teams should sign him. He's a great center. Can basically block any D tackle in the league. Yeah. Can hold his own pretty well. At 80 is Hunter Henry. He led all tight ends in touchdowns last season. He doesn't have, like, the yards. That's because New England likes to run a double tight end set. And, yeah. Besides Matt Judon, he was definitely their best acquisition from that free agency where Bill Belichick said he wanted it all. At 79 is Justin Tucker. He's the greatest kicker of all time, and he made this kick. If you know, you know. Especially if you're a Lions fan. So, yeah. Fantastic year from Justin Tucker, as always. I didn't really know how to rank him, nor where to put him, so I'm just going to put him at 79 for now. At 78 is Shaq Barrett, another member of that Buccaneers front seven. He mostly is known for his edge pressure, and don't think I need to tell you. He's good at it. We saw him in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, but this year we saw him multiple times demonstrated. Yeah. 77 is Diontae Johnson. Big Ben's number one target last year at 1,000 yards. I love Diontae Johnson. He's one of my favorite players. Really, really, really do like him. He's a fantastic receiver. Great route runner. As much as people want to slander him for his drops, I think drops are like the worst way of evaluating a receiver because they're so easy to fix. He's got such a skill set, though, to the point where his drops are noticeable because of how open he gets. Number 76 is Javon Holland. I wanted Javonte Williams, but Javon Holland works. He played at a very good level as a rookie in a Dolphins team that did struggle for the first half of the season. He definitely was part of the reason that Miami had that 7-game turnaround. He stepped it up in the second half of the year. Yeah. At 75 is Derek Carr. Yeah. You can put it in a situation like this guy where you lose your best receiver in Henry Ruggs and you won't get him back. Your head coach gets fired midway through the year when you guys are doing well. And tons of other things happen, including arrest, and you still take your team to the playoffs. Yeah, I think you deserve this spot. 75 for Derek Carr. And number 74 is Derrick Henry. Yes, I know he missed half the year, but he almost rushed for 1,000 yards in 8 games. Let me put him high, okay? He would probably be 1. I'm not gonna lie, probably be 1 if he didn't get hurt. Yeah. 73 is Marcus Williams. A lot of people know him for being the guy who was tackled Minneapolis Miracle. I know him as one of the most underrated safeties in the league. He's actually the first player on this list that has switched teams. JC Tread doesn't count because he technically hasn't switched teams. Yeah. He's a great ball hawk, and the Ravens getting him. It's the Ravens, right? Yeah, Ravens got him. The Ravens getting him was actually a steal. They didn't even have to pay that much for him, and he's a great tool and can be an elite level safety. And that Ravens secondary is scary. 72 is Grady Jarrett, and a lackluster Atlanta defense. Having an interior guy to stuff up the run. That's what Grady Jarrett can do. He's been doing it for a while as well. 71 is Najee Harris, him absolutely bullying a Browns defender. He played behind probably the worst O-line in the league, still rushed for 1,000 yards. The only reason he's not higher is because of his yards per carry. He was also a threat in the receiving game. When you have a quarterback that just throws checkdowns like Big Ben, yeah. He was a very viable fantasy running back. When I say very, I mean very. 70 is the greatest Dolphin of all time, Laremy Tunsil. He caused 3 players on this list. You'll see who the other one is. I can't think you guess. 3 players on this list because of him are on the Dolphins. So, Laremy Tunsil, an absolute GOAT, a stud, a legend. Thank you. He's also a great tackle. Should I mention that? Yeah, he's a great tackle. You definitely want to keep him, and you want to keep Davis Mills. You need someone to protect Davis Mills, though. 69 is Dak Prescott. Dak was so inconsistent last year. If he played at a consistent level, yeah, he'd be higher. The only problem is he would have games where he would just struggle to move the ball. 49ers, Cardinals. Oh, what was another game? Chiefs. Yeah, he had a lot of games where he just struggled to move the ball. What did seem to happen last season is that we would think that their offense was great because they dropped 56 on Washington. They would go on. They ran pace with Tampa Bay. We would think that, and then yeah. But you think of it, their best win. Their best win was against the Patriots team that got stomped in the first round of the playoffs. Yeah, it's hard to say, but Dak plays really inconsistent at times. But when he's good, he's good. 68 is Ronnie Stanley. He got paid this year and deserved. And if Ravens what it looks like they're doing, if they want to revert to an all-run scheme, they're gonna need a big guy like Ronnie Stanley to be able to hold up front, especially with Myles Garrett and TJ Watt in your division. 67 is Cam Jordan. Remember that game where Tampa Bay got shut out? Yeah, he was a big part of that. He forced a fumble on Brady. And that's not all he does. He's an elite edge rusher. Yeah. And 66 is DJ Moore. This is him making an absolutely insane one-handed grab. He has not had a good quarterback. Like, ever. He rocked a Sam Darnold, Cam Newton, and PJ Walker all year. Still was like top 7 in receiving yards, which I thought was insane. And yeah, he gets open. He's got everything you want out of a receiver. 65 is Justin Simmons. Can I rant to you about a second? How was this guy only a star in Madden? Give him superstar. Yeah, Madden's doing him dirty, but I won't. 65 is a fair spot for a top 5 safety in the league. 64 is Marshawn Lattimore, or Mike Evans' dad, whatever you want to call him. Like it's implied, he locks down Mike Evans. He locks down a lot of corners. He is a corner. He locks out a lot of elite receivers. And if the Saints, the only reason they were in a playoff hunt with that injury-riddled team is because they had a good defense, and Marshawn Lattimore was able to stay healthy. 63 is the guy with the best drip in the NFL, and that's Joe Burrow. Yeah. It's Joe Burrow. Now, he could be higher, but I don't know. I don't think he was the reason they made the Super Bowl. He was part of it, but I think there was a slightly bigger reason why. he's a little overrated, but 63 for a guy who took his team to the Super Bowl. 62 is Rodney Harris. Going into the season, I did not have faith in the Raiders. I said their O-line was trash, but their O-line really stepped it up, and Rodney Harris was one of those guys. 61 is CeeDee Lamb, an elite target. An elite target who scored a game-winning touchdown on Jalen Mills. No, but like, out of all seriousness, he was elite last season, and if I had to choose between him and Mari, I'd definitely choose CeeDee Lamb. 60 is Mike Gesicki. Yeah, he's one of my favorite players. I had to put him on this list. Also, 800 yards, glorified receiver, made a ton of one-handed grabs, was basically able to do it all. Yeah, I think you could see why I put him at 60. 59, it's Kenny Clark. A lot of people don't think the Packers are going to be good this year. I don't think they realize how good their defense is. It starts with Kenny Clark stuffing up the interior to let Jair and let other guys lock up players. And they lost to Darius Smith, but that's okay. Kenny Clark is still an absolute stud. 58 is Dalvin Cook. Would be higher, but he missed 5 games this season. That's all I'm going to say. He'll start splitting carries, so yeah. 57 is Garrett Bowles. What are my thoughts on Garrett Bowles? Well, he broke out, I'll tell you that. Fantastic year. And although the Broncos offense is kind of weak besides their run game, Garrett Bowles is definitely a reason why their run game was so successful. Can't wait to see him block for Russell Wilson. 56 is Jason Kelce. He's getting up there in age, but he's still an elite level center. And the Eagles have the best rushing offense in the league. It starts with the O-line. It starts with your Hall of Fame center. 55 is Ali Marpet. Yeah. Bucks have a good O-line. Did you know that? There's a reason why Tom Brady had such a good year last year. 54 is Joe Thuney. I don't think I have to do much explaining. Chiefs had a really good O-line last year. I'm noticing that these 3 teams were all playoff teams with fantastic O-lines. It's almost like O-line is like the most important unit. Oh my goodness. Yeah. If you can't, Mahomes doesn't have time to fire deep balls at Tyreek Hill every play. If he's not getting protected. Joe Thuney was protecting him. Great addition for them last offseason. 53 is Xavier Howard. He didn't have the same year he had last year, but he still had a pretty good year. I think he's more of a lockdown corner, honestly, but he was still a fantastic ball hawk. He had 2 forced fumbles and a touchdown. Yeah. 52 is Micah Hyde. Yeah, I think Micah Hyde was better than Jordan Poyer. They're still a fantastic safety duo. You see, I gave him a normal picture this time. He's not getting mossed by D-Hop. And finally, end off this list, Matt Stafford. He took his team to Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, yeah. It wasn't all him, though. He also produced one of the greatest receiving seasons of all time, again. So, yeah. If y'all like the video, please like, subscribe, and notification bell, and you'll get a part 2 next week. See ya.